We have to prove to producers and people in power that we can do this just as well. We can move them just as well as an able-bodied performer.
After a lot of polling, our research found that when it comes to producers, they were uncomfortable interacting with people with disabilities because they were scared to, they didn't want to offend, they didn't want to insult, they felt guilty. What is your advice to people who may feel that way?
I think they figure that if I am not comfortable, that means, if I themselves as producers are not comfortable, that means the entire American public will not be comfortable. And I think that's a theory that's underlying it. So we want to challenge how they can adapt their thinking. Because, you know, we have the producer at the top, we have the actor who wants to be there and do her job, and we're hoping that we're working with people who are, we understand, meeting deaf people for the first time, and just trying to remind them or inform them that the best person to ask is the deaf person. Because I've been dealing with hearing people all my life. I know how to roll here. So
if they just ask, what's your disability? I will answer that question, and they don't have to be afraid to ask that question.
Especially in a professional setting, people are very nervous to ask any questions, but it's always the best idea to be forthcoming with any kind of discomfort you might have about somebody with a disability.
A disabled kid can sing, dance, and act, and they can do what they can do. It just takes us longer to do it.
It's not necessarily done on the set because you show up to do your job and you go. There's no time there. And the time to educate has to be done a little earlier, and those are the opportunities we need to take.
Even if you're just curious, asking is, you know, in a polite way, in a way that's nice and compassionate, is always the best way to go.
I'm guessing that people won't know until, you know, you have shorts on that, you know, you're an amputee. And then when they do, it's almost like you know immediately when they're like from here to.
I love when people are like, "Oh my God, I didn't even notice."
Exactly.
Like it's a compliment.
Yeah, like
that they didn't
a
notice
backhanded compliment. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, I didn't notice the pair of underwear you were wearing. So you removed that.
Right.
Yeah.
I am deaf, so my disability is not visible until I begin communicating with someone. Once I'm starting to interact, right? If I just walk in the room, nobody's going to recognize me. So when I say, I'm deaf, please repeat something, their immediate response is, I'm sorry, and then I tell them, I'm not. I'm just deaf. So I try to add humor to calm them down and remind them that it's okay. But I also want to let go, because I think that people are not necessarily ready to handle that much. So I try and soothe it, try to accommodate and resolve some of their discomfort. But if a person's not ready, they're not ready.
I think a lot of times people are afraid that you will be angry, which I know many people with disabilities in my life, and I'm sitting right here with 4 people who do not seem to be very angry. So talk to me about that. Why do you...
I'm furious.
Oh, well,
Unless
yeah.
I'm hungry.
Irate.
Then I'm really angry.
Right, yes, yes.
When individuals who do not have choices and have to work their way through lives, they feel that they have to speak up. And those other people feel that their privilege has now been thrown off balance. And that applies to a wide variety of issues, not just disability. So, and if they're thinking that somebody is angry because they're speaking out, I think they think it's a pun that the deaf person is giving voice to something. So it hits them even stronger. And then there's an issue of a woman or a person of color and that intersectionality, right? So all of those layers, when it's just there, it's not, but for them it's nothing simple.
We don't really pay attention a lot to our bodies. And so I think just encountering people with disabilities sort of breaks the illusion of infallibility that people sort of walk around with. The idea of invincibility, the idea that they will never have physical challenges. Seeing us immediately sort of breaks that. And I think that's also why they want to think of us as inspirational, living despite you know, our disability, you know, the horrible curse of disability. So we really are sort of expected to either be inspirational or furious.
We're not trying to ruffle people's feathers. We're just saying, hello, we're here. Hi, we want to be part of the conversation.
As long as we start the conversation and, you know, we as a community of people and around the world, if we make it more comfortable and more accepting, producers will say, okay, well, if everyone wants to see this, we will put the money in to make it happen. What's important now is that we have social media, and social media, we can hit the masses. That's what helped me get to where I am right now.
These are the kinds of conversations that I wish we could. I wish we had a TV or film producer or a theater producer here in the room with us to ask them specifically, to ask those questions.